guys, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel. This is, I've talked about elementals, which I'm very much connected with and have done videos on. I'll put the elemental video or playlist in the description box. Oh, welcome to my channel, everybody. I'm just trying to remember things while I go, so this is pretty random, but I've seen a lot of beings, and a lot of them come to me at night, and a lot of them are very different. And I hope eventually to maybe have a book of all the different beings I've seen. And when I have an evening, or they come to me, I tend to document them, even just a few phrases and memory sort of things until I can get them down properly. And sometimes I just take a video of myself talking and then I'll go back to it maybe a month later. And I thought to myself, well, I see a lot of beings. Some of them I do get frights with, but that's more to do with the way maybe that anyone would get a fright if something appeared in front of them. It's not I'm scared of spirits or I'm scared of other beings in any way. I've seen these things since I was very small, so but I do get frights and I do jump out my skin, but it would be like if I wakened up at night, sat up and there was someone come flying at me that was a burglar. It's the same sort of feeling. So I thought, well, I've had two interesting beings last night, so I'll document them for you today and see what you think. It's madness. It's things I've never particularly. It's not madness, but I tend to keep some of the more unusual things for my books, because YouTube can be a dreadful place. If you are out of the ordinary or you say anything in any way. So, but you've asked me to tell my stories more, so I'm going to tell my stories more. So last night, I was lying in bed facing this way, that way, and I wasn't sleeping, but I knew there was going to be a manifestation because I can feel the energy change. And as it changed, I looked and there was this little girl-like creature, and she was so beautiful. She looked about 4 or 5 years old, and she had ginger orange hair, in little curls, but I mean it was a bit like if I leave my hair without doing anything, it goes in these curls, and if I cut it short it goes even into tighter curls. So it was a bit like that as a child. And she had this, but in the curls there was all over her head there was little flowers, little buds, and they were like red with pink middles or pink with red middles, and they were all sitting perfectly over her head as though they'd been placed perfectly. And when I saw them, I was like, oh my goodness, I felt such good energy coming from this little thing. And she wasn't a spirit as such. I knew she wasn't a spirit, so she may be some sort of elemental, but she didn't look like the little people that are around the cottage, the earth elementals. So it was a bit weird, but I try not to question when I'm saying, I just want to take it all in. So when I looked at this sense of, oh, your hair's gorgeous, and she kind of giggled and laughed and then sort of turned that way, and she had a cloak or a shawl, and it was exactly the same with all the little flowers all over it, all very much in as though it'd almost been crocheted together. It wasn't random. The buds were in where they should have been, kind of thing. And as I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's lovely. And then I realised that, and it was the realisation that is the thing I always have to write down here. I realised that the cloak was real. It was real flowers that had been spun together, and somehow it was a living thing that was on her. And when I realised that, I looked at all of them in their hair, and it was more like there was threads that was almost like a little cap, but you couldn't really see the threads, you could just see the flowers, but it also was real and living. So this little creature, this little girl creature was carrying, basically she looked sweet, she quite pale skinned, quite almost like, even like very pale, few wee freckles. I don't remember the colour of her eyes, which is odd because I normally can recall colours of eyes right here and then, but I can't recall. But I know I saw her eyes, but I couldn't tell you whether they were blue or brown or grey, which is annoying to me because eye colour is a thing that's quite important when I'm viewing beings. But I honestly can't remember the colour of her eyes. But she's little rosebud mouth, and it's just very, very pretty. But it was as though she showed herself. She wanted to show me her hair and then the cloak. And one side looked and thought it was lovely, got all this lovely energy. And then I looked at her and I saw that this whole thing was vibrating with like plant energy, with the buds, with the weaving. It was one of the most beautiful things I've seen. And then once I sort of got that in my head, she just disappeared. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll remember that one. I should keep something at the side of my bed. I do sometimes to write up in, but I sometimes find if it's there, if I can't sleep, I'll just start writing, and then I'll, even if I've had no visitations, I will just write, and then it's 4:30 in the morning. And Jim and I are trying to get sleep patterns a bit better at the moment. So a few hours later, I actually had been sleeping, and it was as though I felt a sort of, it was like a waft of energy, and I was turned this way that time, that way. And I wakened up, and sort of between me and the sort of unit I have, there was quite a tall man standing. He had on a kind of, like just like a muddy cloak, just that brown green kind of olivey, and he was facing, like, if I was looking back, he was facing that way. And he wasn't looking at me. His side on, had long white hair. It wasn't like a mad wizard or anything. It was quite well kept, but his hand was out pointing, and I looked at him and I looked where he was pointing, and I said, "Oh, west," because I know my directions obviously in the house because I do ritual and stuff, and it's nice to know your directions. So when I said west, he spun round, put his finger right at me and looked at me, and I thought, it's like, what? No. And I was like, no, get scared, and he went. So he was pointing west, and then he turned to me, and I've just got that that mad 80s group singing "Go West" in my head now. Peter Cox. If you ever want a breakup song or whatever, it's "I'm Not Gonna Cry, I Ain't Gonna Cry No More" by Peter Cox, who was the lead singer of Go West from the 80s. If you ever need a song that is an anthem, go have a wee look at "Ain't Gonna Cry Again" by Peter Cox. So now I've got "Go West" because that man last night was like pointing west and then pointing to me. So either the west has to come to me or I have to go west. West here at the cottage would take us to the Ayrshire coast. So maybe I need to get back to the beach because I've not been in so long. And those of you that know me know that although I'm very much an earth element person, that I am happiest swimming in the sea. That's my place of feeling as though I've gone back to my sort of amoeba state. So that's the 2 from last night. Sometimes when I get them, it's like 4 nights in a row, different ones. Then it goes away for a while. And sometimes it's a lot and then it goes away for months and then it comes back again. I have documentation of the other creatures I've seen over the last few years that seem very important at this time. And seeing how, if this video is liked, then maybe I'll go back the way and explain some of the other creatures, beings that I've seen. But for that, you need to let me know if you like this, or if you're not that interested. But if you like it and you're prepared occasionally, you know, if you're in the comments and we get some idiot like whatever, that you maybe not so much, don't interact with trolls, but maybe email me and let me know that there's a troll on, because I don't check my comments every night. And occasionally a troll will get through, but I think I've got a lot of protection and blockage up. But when you start a new kind of thing, it can bring in new people, and most of them are lovely, but occasionally you'll get someone that's just there to wind up or to say horrible things. So for me to talk about these things, which are very personal to me, I need to know that you really are interested in these things. So give me a thumbs up, comment and say, even if you don't want to comment about what's happening or what these beings were or whatever, just let me know that you're interested in this type of video, and we'll see what happens. So many blessings now. If you would like to know more about my mad life, Memoirs of a Clairvoyant, Unforeseen Circumstances by Colette Brown is in all Amazons and online bookstores, and Dying to Live, Death and the Afterlife by Colette Brown is also there too. So many blessings. Let me know what you think, and you'll either enjoy it or think I've gone completely bonkers. But I've seen so many beings in my life. I saw my first earth elemental, you know, when I was very young, and I continued to see them, and I've seen, well, I'm not going to go on. If you like this type of video, let me know and we'll see what we do. Many blessings now. Bye.